Hey guys, and welcome back to Art Theories. In this video, we're going to be asking the big scary question on every young artist's mind. Can I turn this into a career? Is this something that I can reasonably make money from, or am I wasting my time? Also, at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you why I decided not to pursue a career as an artist, and it's probably not for the reasons you think. So stick around for that. So let's start with the good news. There is a thriving art world out there full of artists who are making money from their art. Some of them aren't just making money, they're making an absolute killing and they're filthy stinking rich. And they exist, they're out there, so there's no concrete reason why you can't one day be part of that community, why you can't do what they've done and be an artist just like them. It is possible and it could happen. However, the way I see it, it's kind of like trying to become a pop star or an actor. Like, by all means, go for it. Give it everything you've got. Do your best. But bear in mind that statistically speaking, the odds aren't in your favor. There's a lot of people who are going to try and get these jobs, and not everyone's going to succeed. In fact, the majority of people won't be able to make a living from art. So you need to bear that in mind, and you need to have a backup plan, because 10, 15, 20 years down the line, you don't want to still be doing a job that you don't like to support an art practice that just doesn't seem to be going anywhere. So for me, the backup plan was learning to become a teacher. That meant that I could do fulfilling work whilst doing creative work on the side. Your backup plan could be something completely different, but I think every creative should have a backup plan. Whether or not you can make money from your art really depends what kind of art you make, because in the world of contemporary art, there's so much range. You could be making this, or you could be making this. It's definitely easier to monetize your art practice if your art is capitalism friendly. And what I mean by that is it's easily bought and sold. It would look good in a rich person's home, and it doesn't get too overtly political. If you can bear to make capitalism-friendly art, it does become easier to make money from it for obvious reasons, because rich people will buy it. But I know that there's a lot of you out there who are more interested in making dematerialized art, whether that's performance art, installation art, video art, conceptual art, whatever it is. And although it's not quite as easy to make money using those mediums, it is possible, and there's still a lot of artists out there who do live off their performance art or live off their installation art, and that's very heartening to see. So if you are going to make a career in the arts that way, you're probably going to need to rely on grants, commissions, and private funding, which means you're going to need to get comfortable doing paperwork, because you're going to be living in admin hell. Even if you're really good at securing grants and private funding and you don't mind doing the paperwork, you also have to bear in mind that generally funding is offered on a project-to-project basis, meaning it can be very inconsistent. Meaning you're probably still going to need a side job unless you're absolutely raking it in. Unfortunately, the art world is a world of inner circles. It's not what you know so much as it's who you know. And I think this is a huge shame, because if you don't have contacts, if you don't know other artists, curators, collectors, gallery directors, whatever, it becomes very difficult to get access to the opportunities that are going to get your career started. It's going to be very difficult to get a place in that group show, to get someone to buy your art, to get a gallery to sign you up, if you just don't know anyone, because the art world does seem to run on a person-to-person basis. Arts Jobs UK is a barren wasteland, and I wouldn't recommend anyone ever visit that website. And the reason being because all the good jobs go to family and friends. I think one of the main benefits of going to art school is it does offer you a handful of friends who later down the line will become art world contacts. You'll know professional people who are creative, who are working to some degree within the art world. And I think that's one of the most valuable things that going to art school and studying art can offer you. However, I do think that the internet has created more opportunities for creative people to put what they do out there and for it to be seen, and for creatives to network and to build contacts with other creatives across the world. And I think that's really, really cool. Like, one of the main benefits of doing this YouTube channel for me has been that I've befriended a lot of really creative, interesting people out there in the world, and I've networked with them basically through this channel. And I do think that any artist or anyone with a creative interest, if they just put what they do on the internet consistently, will start to pick up contacts, people, create networks and relationships, which could one day lead to opportunities. And I think that is really exciting, and I like it because it's breaking the inner circle mentality that the art world has. But something that I realised by spending some time in London's gallery world is that the art world is a closed circle by design. There are a lot of people who want glamorous art jobs and art opportunities. And there's a group of people at the centre of the art world who are living incredibly luxurious, glamorous, lavish lives. And they don't want to share what they've got with everyone else. That's why art people can come across so cold and so rude, and that's why galleries can seem so distant and unapproachable, because they've got something that everyone wants and they don't want to share it. So they create this kind of "you can't sit with us" mentality. And that's a structural problem with the art world, and it benefits the people in the middle, but it means that a huge amount of people on the peripheries lose out. But yeah, that's not a coincidence, it's how it's designed. So this leads nicely onto my next point, which is the single best way to get ahead in the art world is to have rich and connected parents. Not only will it offer you a safety net if your art doesn't sell, it will also offer you a really handy set of contacts. Someone to give you your first solo show, someone to buy your art, someone to introduce you to more curators, more collectors, someone to sign you up to a gallery. And if your parents are paying the rent, that means you can spend all day, every day working on your art, giving you a huge unfair advantage against people who have to go to work and then do their art around their day job. This is why it's really important not to compare yourself to other artists, because the playing field is far from even, and most artists do not disclose how much help they're getting from their parents. But if by hook or by crook you are approached by a gallery that wants to sign you, just be cautious, read the fine print, make sure it's a good deal, because some of these galleries can be very predatory, especially towards young up-and-coming artists. I certainly wouldn't recommend doing any unpaid work for these galleries, and trust me, they do ask. And generally, when a gallery does sell your work, they'll take a 50 or a 60% commission, which does sound huge, but they are marketing your work for you, they're finding you a buyer, and they're inflating the price of your work. So if they sell your painting for 10k, you're still getting 5k, so I don't know, might be alright. You just need to figure out if that works for you. They may also expect you to only make one type of art from there on, which is kind of depressing because it means giving up your creative freedom. So this turned out to be quite a depressing video, and that is a shame. I really don't mean to discourage anyone who wants to be an artist from pursuing their dreams. And I think it's a double shame because the art world needs more of every kind of diversity. And it seems like the art world is set up in such a way that only people with money, privilege, and connections are they're given the easy path, and everyone else really has to struggle. It's such a huge shame because the art world needs to reflect the voices and the realities of everyone, people from different backgrounds, different economic realities, and that's something that the art world is failing to do. If you want to be an artist, if that is your passion and that's what you care about, I 100% think that you should pursue it, and I think that you should give it your best shot. But do bear in mind that it might not work out, and do think about your backup plans or your plan Bs or what you're going to do if this doesn't turn into a monetizable business for you, because the reality is that does happen to a lot of people, and statistically you're likely to be one of them. Like I said at the beginning, it's like trying to be a pop star or a famous actor. It could work out, but at the same time it might not. So I'm going to end by telling you why I specifically chose not to become an artist and not to pursue a career as an artist. So when I was a child and a young person, I definitely had a sort of dream or an ambition to become a paid artist when I'm older, and I went to art school with that intention. And I think things changed for me when I took an unpaid internship with the Victoria Miro Gallery, and then subsequently went to work at the Institution of Contemporary Arts as a waiter and a barista. And I just kind of learned by being a fly on the wall that the art world is super hierarchical. And for me, I'm quite a stubborn person and I'm quite defiant. And I really didn't want to put myself in a position where these people who I did not respect were determining my value, and I had to suck up to them and I had to play nice with them in order to get them to sell my work and get them to promote me. I didn't want to have any sort of relationship with these gallery institutions or the people who run them, and I certainly didn't want to have them in charge of my art, determining my value and determining the future of my career. And yeah, I found that process of working in galleries so depressing that I just kind of walked away from the art world and decided to train to become an art teacher instead, which is actually something I love. And I love being an art teacher because you get to share creativity and you get to share your passion and interest in art with young people who are really genuinely interested, and it's not hierarchical and it's not commercial and it's not depressing, and you do have creative freedom. And then alongside the art teaching, I do this, and between those two things I feel fulfilled. So that's why I decided not to pursue a career as an artist. Yeah, thought that might be of interest to you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do like my content, please consider supporting me on Patreon, link below, and in my Instagram bio. Please subscribe, follow me on Instagram. I need all the help I can get in growing this channel. And yeah, I really appreciate you watching this video.